When people say, oh my gosh, slavery was 400 years ago, get over it. Now, baby, I live in Mississippi. Slavery just ended a couple years ago. Oh no, it didn't. Here you go. Yes, it did. It just ended. Okay? So I stay here in Mississippi in my crooked eye, humpback eye, where slavery just ended yesterday. Okay? I live in a state where the world haven't even caught up with us. Okay? Our minimum wage just changed from $7. It probably still is $7. Matter of fact. But what slavery was just around the corner was. So when we in Mississippi see a group of white boys and one black boy and the black boy don't return, of course we looking funny. Okay? When people get hung from the trees and nobody say nothing and they say that we did it ourselves, of course we looking funny. I'm gonna repeat myself. Slavery just ended in Mississippi in 2013.
I talked to Nolan, and Nolan was drinking. Everybody was drinking, most of everybody. And I mean, Nolan seemed completely fine every time I talked to him.
Somebody killed this young man. Somebody killed this young man. I'm no news reporter, okay? I'm not unbiased. I come into these things with full bias based on my life experience and everything that I've seen in my life. Somebody killed this young man.
Y'all, it looks like the moment everybody been waiting for, the moment we all thought we was going to see things shake up in this Nolan Wells case, have turned into one big doozy. And as I told y'all before, when it comes to this case, there's a lot of things that's just a little too fishy for my liking, but I do still cover it to highlight a few things that will hopefully get people to start questioning certain things instead of taking everything for face value. This is why when we get updates, that's when I decide to post about it to hear whatever conclusion you guys decide to come up with. And in this situation, we have about 2 new updates that'll make you scratch your head about what we've been told concerning this case and wonder once again what the F is going on. With that being said, we're going to cut this video into 2 parts. The first part, we're going to be talking about a friend of Nolan Wells who describes himself as Nolan's best friend and would even go as far as to say that he knew Nolan very well, more so on a day-to-day basis. He even claims the day Nolan Wells was reported missing on July 4th, he spoke to Nolan as well as other friends that he was with, and he described the state of mind that Nolan Wells appeared to be in. Now this is important because his account of Nolan Wells the day he spoke to him is totally different from the other kid by the name of Lucas Aviz, who also claimed he was Nolan's best friend. And if we're judging off what his new friend is stating, then we would come to the conclusion that Lucas was lying about Nolan's state of being the day he passed away. We'll get to that part. In the second part of the video, we're going to get into the individual autopsy that was done on Nolan Wells and was said to be revealed today by Reverend Al Sharpton and attorney Ben Crump. Now we're going to get into it, but before we do, quick spoiler alert. In a nutshell, Ben Crump didn't reveal nothing. Literally wasted his time, our time, and the whole conference, including the setup, people, television time, the whole 9 yards. This man literally wasted all that time to tell us something that he could have pretty much said on Zoom, addressing the world, and kept it at that. With all that being said, let's just say that social media is pissed. So as always, I want to hear what you guys think about all this, and what do you think all of this says about the case now after you hear everything that transpired? Honestly speaking, as I went down the list of people Ben Crump has represented in the past, consisting of Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Tyree Nichols, Ahmaud Arbery, and those are just the high profile cases we know of. Think to yourself, what do they all have in common? Then think to yourself again, how is this man seemingly hired for every last one of these type of cases, especially with it being high profile? Then ask yourself again, why? I'll leave y'all with that, but in the meantime, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, hype the video so we can get into the algorithm, and if you not subscribed to the platform already, make sure you do so now. Let's get into it. Hold up, y'all. There's no way you're watching this video for free right now, where you could be getting paid literally just for playing games while this video play in the background at the same time. Only difference is the increase in your bank account. Now, I'm not saying you'll get rich, but I am saying that you could easily make something while doing nothing except for sitting on the couch playing games if you download the app Free Cash. Tap or click the link I pinned in the comment section or scan the QR code that I put right here on the screen. Also, if you use my link right now, they give you a little something to start off with just for signing up. So if you want a little Uber Eats or something to snack on and don't feel like dipping into your own wallet, play a few games so you don't have to spend your own ends. Now let's get back to the video. Now let's start off with the friend who says he was best friends with Nolan and spoke with Nolan the day he went missing. He describes Nolan in his mind state that he got to hear him in this interview that he did with a man who goes by the name of Officer Tatum. This is a man that believes Reverend Al Sharpton and Ben Crump are using this situation to ignite race issues allegedly, when they could have just did the due diligence of actually talking to some of Nolan's peers like he did and getting real information pertaining to Nolan himself or whatever happened the day he disappeared. Y'all go check him out on Instagram. He did a bunch of videos about the situation as well as this interview. I took a short piece, but it's more on his platform, so if you would like to see more, go ahead and support. But in the meantime, let's get into the video. Y'all check this out.
Relationship like with Nolan, who was he to you?
Nolan was not just a best friend of me, but he was a brother. I grew up through elementary, middle school, high school, and even our freshman year of college, you know, we talked on the phone all the time. We were really close friends. And I mean, Nolan was like a brother to me. And Nolan lit up every room he walked in. He always had a smile on his face. He always had something good to say. You know, it's a big party, basically.
The friend groups are out there, 3 boats full of people that came out there that seemed to be the closest friend group.
Right.
Where's Nolan in this in comparison to where you and others are at?
Well, you know, I had a couple conversations with Nolan that day, and I talked to him and a couple of my other buddies. Like, in a group, I was not focused on anyone solely, like looking and pointing anyone out, because there's so many people out there. I mean, I was talking to my friends that I haven't seen in a while from high school. I was talking from people I knew from college. It was just a big, I talked to Nolan, and you know, Nolan was drinking. Everybody was drinking, most of everybody. And I mean, Nolan seemed completely fine every time I talked to him. We had just regular conversations, and you know, Nolan was making me laugh. I had a couple conversations with Nolan and Javon.
Now, as you can see, his story was very different than Lucas Aviza's story.
Meanwhile, one of the last people to see Nolan Wells alive is speaking out to Inside Edition today. 18-year-old Nolan vanished during 4th of July celebrations on an island off the coast of Mississippi. His body washed up 2 days later.
There were so many people. I mean, boats, they were like on top of each other almost, like, I mean, it was intense.
Lucas Aviz is a college classmate of Nolan at Southwest Mississippi Community College. He says he went to Horn Island with his family and friends on a different boat and ran into Nolan there.
I'd say he's pretty hammered. He would slur his words. His movement was slow.
Nolan and 3 friends had arrived on Horn Island at around 11 a.m. According to authorities, the friends say they left around 4:30 p.m., but they say Nolan told them that he was staying behind. According to reports, he had met a young lady and wanted to hang out with her. Lucas says he was devastated when he heard later that night that his friend was missing.
He may have been taken by the current, and I'm guessing he drowned. There's a certain part of the island where the current is pretty strong.
Inside Edition cameras return to Horn Island. It's an uninhabited barrier island in the Gulf and a favorite destination for teens who want to party. There are also dangerous currents. This video shows how crowded the island was that day. No matter how it came about, nothing can take away the pain of Nolan's family or the tragedy of a young man who died too soon.
Which means that whether you believe it or not, somebody is lying. 2 different people saying 2 different stories, all claiming to be friends of Nolan's. Who's telling the truth? And whoever is lying, why would they lie? Are they guilty, or are they being put up to it to sway a narrative? Who knows? But now, let's get into the part of Ben Crump and Al Sharpton. As y'all know, both parties were supposed to be dropping the independent autopsy today, and a lot of us were waiting because we felt that this would determine what truly happened to Nolan Wells. If he has water in his lungs, more than likely he drowned, right? But if he don't, and he also has bruises on his body like many have suspected, because that's a rumor that's been floating around, then this also shows that it was foul play, right? So we've been waiting and waiting and waiting. They even announced it like it was going to be the latest Netflix series, only to be disappointed that the autopsy basically told us nothing. However, it did let us know that some foul play is indeed going on.
Dr. Roger Mitchell said that the focal area of red discoloration in the soft tissue of the back of the head, the occipital region, is significant because he cannot determine why you have that red discoloration in the back of his brain. That's significant. He also talked about, Mr. Williams, if you could, just the fact that as it's common practice, he was missing his throat when they received the body. And he wants to know why they held it back. He's not drawing any conclusions, but he said he would want to examine it if there were neck fractures or compressions to the neck. And he thinks that's significant to know at autopsy. The reason he said he would hold it back when he was medical examiner because he thought that there may have been some issues with neck fractures. The last thing that is significant is what we said before about him, the condition of his body when he went into the water. Was he conscious or unconscious? Was he forced or unforced into the water? He said those things are very significant. But he started off talking about this red discoloration in the back of his head is something that was of great concern to him. This forensic pathologist identified several limitations during the second autopsy that create barriers to establishing a definitive cause and manner of death for Nolan Xavier Wells. And that's important. He talks about the fact that we didn't get to see the body when it was first recovered, like the medical examiner working for Mississippi would have seen it. He talked about the second autopsy performed on Nolan Wells revealed marked decompensation or changes. Marked decompensation can obscure the presence and absence of bruising on the skin surface, especially during a second autopsy examination. What he's saying, because the body was so decomposed that you couldn't tell if there was bruises or abrasions on the body when he received it on the 10th of July.
Now, in a nutshell, if you didn't understand that, here's what happened. The first autopsy that was done, the family decided they would get their own done because many times you can't trust a town, especially like Mississippi, to give you accurate details in regards to a melanated kid losing his life where YT kids are potentially suspects, especially when their parents are lawyers, doctors, firefighters, etc. Now, I'm not saying that's what happened, but with these type of odds against them, they didn't want to take no chances, and people typically get their own autopsy done, considering the independent person performing the autopsy wouldn't have a reason to hide anything or lie. However, in this case, the independent autopsy didn't reveal a damn thing due to the first autopsy that was done allegedly complicating the process. Now, from what it seems, his body was tampered with while it underwent the first autopsy with the state before it even got to the independent one. The independent autopsy have concurred that the cause of death and the manner of death is also undetermined and under pending investigation. Basically, Nolan's body was missing certain parts that was needed for the autopsy, and it said that it was tampered with from the Mississippi State Autopsy Office, which can only conclude one thing. They did it because he was in their custody, right? And it just so happens that the main parts needed to conclude whether it was foul play or not are in fact missing. Now, shout out to Lee Merrick. As he posted about breaking news in regards to the autopsy, he would state, quote, "Breaking. The state removed his throat before the family could get a second opinion. Nolan Wells' independent autopsy results cause and manner of death undetermined, pending investigation. Attorney Ben Crump says the pathologist couldn't examine Wells' lungs or stomach because his throat structures and other organs had already been removed and dissected during the original Mississippi State autopsy. The report also found significant red discoloration in the soft tissue at the back of Wells' head and behind his ears. This family deserves answers immediately. The fight is not over. It has only just begun. Justice for Nolan Wells. Now, as y'all see, right? Nolan Wells' body was clearly tampered with while in the custody of the state of Mississippi. I don't see how in the world no arrests are being made when there's clearly something going on and no one seemed to care. How can the main parts of his body that needs to be investigated for the autopsy is missing and or tampered with? And why? What was the purpose of removing his throat or messing with his lungs? Especially his lungs, where that was supposed to be one of the biggest deciding factors within this autopsy. What a coincidence. Why isn't no one in the Mississippi State Autopsy Office being questioned? Shouldn't that be grounds for an investigation or something immediately? No? Now also, if you pay attention to what Mr. Lee Merritt stated, he stated that there was significant red discoloration in the soft tissue at the back of Wells' head and behind his ears. This was written today after the autopsy was revealed. However, another user on Threads by the name of Amadeus Base, who posted before the exposure of the autopsy, would state, quote, Wyatt smacked him in the head with some sort of big pole. The pole is hidden in the woods or near the garage, and there is definitely a backpack in the garage which contains or contained Nolan's blood on a tennis towel, like Patricia Chapman said. Now once again, y'all, all of these things are alleged, but if we're going off what the autopsy is telling us and what's being alleged, then something is a bit fishy because these things are kind of adding up. But we wasn't there, so we can't tell y'all verbatim. But now that y'all got that info, here's a user on social media reacting to the autopsy results. Y'all check this out.
I just watched that Big Crump autopsy, man. Yo, man. All of y'all involved is gonna burn in hell, bro. All of y'all involved gonna burn in hell, bro. You mean to tell me they can't determine the cause of death because y'all still got his throat? The medical examiner in Mississippi, she sent everything to the other. She sent his entire body to do the second autopsy. Everything but his throat. But they see there's blood trauma force in the back of the head. Now they can't even check the airway to determine if it was drowning or not. And it wasn't drowning. Because if it was drowning, his throat would have been with his body. Who the gave you the authorization to take the throat, bro? What kind of is that? And the reason why they took it is because that was the cause of death. They strangled him. They hit him in the back of the head. They either hung him or strangled him, and they threw him in that island. Like he wasn't worth a damn. And that's up, man. That's why his friends wasn't at the funeral talking about some death threats. The reason why they receiving death threats is because they did some shit they had no business doing to somebody they considered a friend. Because if that's my friend, no matter where, I'm going to be in that goddamn funeral. Because that's my motherfucking friend that's getting laid down. I don't give a damn about a death threat. Take me out too, nigga. Because that's my friend. That's how I would have went down. But they ain't go down like that. They lawyered up and now they on podcasts doing interviews. Like they some celebrities. God, that shit got me hot this morning.
Now before we end this video, a user on Twitter made a good point about the independent autopsy, and they would place blame on attorney Ben Crump. As they added him on Twitter, they would state, quote, you and your team knew or should have known that an independent second autopsy would come back as undetermined, especially one that involves a body being transported as far as this young man's body was, and after an autopsy had been done that is still waiting on information itself. Instead of waiting and comparing the original autopsy to the independent and using complete data, then release those findings in this young man's home state in town where his family and friends are. You turned a tragic situation for any family to go through into a circus sideshow once again. A national convention, what you and the independent autopsy revealed gave zero information that declares an accidental, this or that, or even foul play. Yet you had to jump on the lights, camera, action platform. I would suggest that you go back and watch yourself speak and pay attention to your wording. You'll catch on to what everyone else is hearing and the contradictions. Go watch it. Now I had to include that because it made perfect sense. I don't know what they thought they was going to get out of doing a second autopsy when it already had to go through the state first, And if you didn't believe that the state was going to keep it 100, then why did we go through them first instead of the independent one being done first so it could get on top of whatever clues that it needed first instead of going through the state and us being trapped in what we are trapped in now? And instead of doing something about it, it seems like they're just treating it right now as one big coincidence. Where, like the user said, we don't know whether it was accidental or foul play because we don't have the lung that was needed nor the throat, but they did say that he had red discoloration in the back of his head. How else would you get that? I don't think you would get red discoloration or bruising or anything of that sort if he just drowned like they claim. I don't know, y'all, but there you have it. Y'all jump in the comments and let me know what y'all think about this. How do y'all feel about the autopsy results? Do y'all feel it helps or it didn't do nothing for this case? It kind of did. It did reveal that there is something going on because clearly his throat structure and his lung was taken, and that's just not a coincidence, right? So something should be done, but I guess we just gotta wait and see. Y'all jump in the comments, let me know what y'all think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'ma keep on dropping. And I'm out. Are you tired of a bunch of social media gurus promising you results with their course, but all they do is take a bunch of information off YouTube and Google, then sell it to you? Well, look no further. Our YouTube Tips and Tricks Masterclass course comes equipped with SEO tips and tricks, along with methods we use to growth hack our YouTube channel. It also includes step-by-step ways to publish your video before uploading to guarantee a great SEO score, therefore your videos can rank and be shown to a bigger audience. Views and subscribers don't come by luck, and just how YouTube have an algorithm, you should have one as well that can guarantee you results. We doing websites and softwares we personally use to generate money creating Faces YouTube channels. If you also would like to skip the process and just buy other pre-built accounts, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook, we also threw that in there for you too. We went through trial and error, so you don't have to. Click the link in the description or the comments and get started today.